Howdy, Life Group leaders. So I got the grand privilege of going to the Hoyle Life Group tonight. They did an amazing job uh, as new interns under the Kaufmans, and they just like rose up to this challenge of being put in charge of leading Life Group, and they just did an amazing job, and that just shows great leadership. And so, just a shout out to that. But in worship tonight at Life Group, I just felt the Lord give me this word, and He actually spoke this word to me at World Mandate. Um, but I really feel like it's for all of us to hear, and we need to hear it. And so it's from Exodus 17, and it's 8 through 16. It says, The Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, Choose some of our men and go out to fight the Amalekites. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the staff of God in my hands. So Joshua fought the Amalekites as Moses had ordered, and Moses, Aaron, and went to the top of the hill. As long as Moses held up his hands, the Israelites were winning, but whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites were winning. When Moses' hands grew tired, they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and held his hands up, one on one side and one on the other, so that his hands remained steady till sunset. So Joshua overcame the Amalekite army with the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, Write this on a scroll as something to be remembered, and make sure that Joshua hears it, because I will completely blot out the memory of the Amalekite from under heaven. Moses built an altar and called it The Lord is my banner. He said, For hands were lifted up to the throne of the Lord. The Lord will be at war against the Amalekites from generation to generation. And so here we have this battle going on. And the interesting thing is Moses, being the leader, instructed Joshua, who'd been out of slavery for all of like 2 or 3 weeks, to go recruit other slaves who also don't have military experience to go and fight a trained army, the Amalekites. Amalekites being descendants of Esau. And I just really feel like that just means like descendants of rebellion, that this was a rebellious spirit that they were going up against. And anyway, and so go recruit these guys, go fight. And by the way, I'm going to be on top of this mountain. And on top of this mountain, Moses is just simply worshiping. He's holding up his hands and he's bringing down the throne room of God, because I really love this last scripture right at the bottom. It says, For the hands were lifted up to the throne of the Lord. And so he's ushering in God's presence here on this battleground. And he's worshiping and he's honoring him. And when he gets tired, when he gets weary, he has intercessors on both sides of him holding his arms up to make sure that the throne room doesn't lift, but that it stays here until the victory comes. And I also thought it was really important. It says, write this on a scroll as something to be remembered and make sure that Joshua hears it. Because the reality is this battle could not have been won without the Lord. You had unequipped people doing things that they were not prepared to do. And really, what won this was worship and intercession. But he said, write this down so that Joshua hears it, because ultimately, Joshua is going to be going into the promised land. He's going to be going into the land of Canaan, and this is going to be the tactic. He's going to hit different people groups, and these people groups are only going to be conquered through worship and intercession and being in my presence. And he needs to hear that. And he says, and then he built an altar and he said, The Lord is my banner. And so the Lord's going before us. And so I just feel like all of us are in different positions. Some of us feel like Joshua, where we're recruiting and we're doing things that are very unfamiliar to us. Maybe that is doing life group on a Zoom session. Maybe that's doing church remotely. I don't know what it is, but maybe some of us are just kind of, hey, I'm just obeying orders and doing what I'm supposed to do. And I'm praying that victory comes. And then others of us are in that position of just worship and intercession and just praying that God comes. And I just believe God is just going to honor this. And I really strongly believe that He is bringing things into alignment. And let me just read. I just said that the Amalekites kind of represented a rebellious spirit, but the land that they had to go conquer in the promised land that Joshua had to conquer, you had the Hittites, which represent bad news or the media. You had the Gershishites, which represent corruption or government. You had the Amorites, which represent education, the Canaanites, which represent the economy, the Hivites, which represent celebration or compromise or that Jezebel spirit, uh, the the oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher this. The Perizzites, which is a spirit of religion and idolatry, and the Jebusites, which is the rejection of family. And it's really interesting that in this situation, this world global crisis that we are in, that all of these things are coming into a different alignment and a different order. And so I really just believe God's bringing things into order. And I just want to commission you as leaders to continue this amazing work of whether it's obedience, whether it's worship and intercession, whatever it is, that's what wins the war. We don't gain territory by doing nothing or locking ourselves in, but just worship, intercession, and in obedience of gathering in these groups of 10. And I really just believe God is going to bless our church and it's going to multiply out because we are not operating in a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. You guys are awesome. And please share out about what Life Group was like this week and what church is going to be like on Sunday. Love you guys. See you later.